What's up, everybody? Barely Deadly back here again, and today I'm going to be ranking some more characters. Today I'll be ranking DC superheroes, so this is going to be very interesting. I'm going to be going based off whatever appearances they've made, and I guess I'll count animated series, I'll count movies, TV shows, as well as comic book origins as well. So obviously I'm going to be referring mainly to what I think of them from the comics, but I will also take inspiration from other appearances they made. Maybe it could hurt them, maybe it can help them. But let's get right into it. First off, we have Barbara Gordon and we have Batgirl. Now, Barbara Gordon as a character is very interesting. I do like her, but at the same time, I don't really go out of my way to, I'm not really interested in her that much. So I would say she's definitely solid. I do like her. Her arc, what happens with her, she turns into Oracle. She is a good character. I don't think she is that good of a character overall, but I do think she's solid. So she's definitely going there. Next, we have Cyborg. Okay. This might be a controversial opinion. I don't know if a lot of people think, but I do not, at least in the comics. So actually, I'm going to refer back in the comics, I do not like Cyborg at all. I'm not really a fan of Cyborg because mainly all of his arcs in the comics involve man versus machine. I don't really like him in the Justice League either. But however, him in Doom Patrol and his version of him in the Zack Snyder Justice League is good, and they are making the character seem better than he actually is. At least in the comics, they're already doing a better job. So I won't put him in bad, but I'll put him in meh because I don't really care for the character, and everything just involves around man versus machine. So that concept gets old. They need to do something different with the character. Hopefully they could work on him in the live action version. Maybe they make him better that way, but definitely not working for him in the comics for me at least. Now moving on next, I think this is Red Hood, Jason Todd. Okay, now Red Hood, Jason Todd, whatever you want to refer to him, Robin, he is a good character. Okay, overall, you see character development with him. You know what happens with him. You see him turn. You see him turn into Red Hood. You see him kill. You see Under the Red Hood. Everyone's seen that animated movie before. Come on, if you haven't seen it, you can't be watching this video. There's no way. So everyone knows what happens with Jason Todd, but I will not put him in great for this reason because his character is good, but just after he becomes Red Hood, they just go back and forth. Like sometimes he's killing people, then he decides he's not killing people. He's more of an anti-hero, but he just goes over the spectrum way too much, in my opinion. He just goes, I'm gonna kill people again. I'm not gonna kill people. It's just going back and forth way too much for me to really think he's a great character. But overall, he is a good character. I'd put him as a high B. He is definitely a good character, so I do like him. Moving on next, we have Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow, and now this is my first instant S tier. Now hear me out. Okay, Oliver Queen in the comics is such a good character, man. Even in the new 52, they make him more like Batman, and they take away some elements away from the character. They make him more serious. They make him similar to Batman, but he just has so much depth to the character. He is very similar to Batman in the sense that he is a billionaire and et cetera, et cetera. But he is completely different from Batman. He knows what he's doing. He acts like a buffoon. He just acts like an idiot all the time, but deep down inside, he knows what he's doing is right. He does it for the people. He does it to save everyone. He does what he can to do the best for everyone there is, and he just puts everyone before he puts himself. And he is egotistical. He is cocky. He does think he's better than everyone, but that's why I love him. He's such a good character. He's just so much depth to the character. There's so many arcs where Oliver Queen shows what he is truly capable of. And for me personally, he's literally at the top of the list. You can't get better with a character when it comes to character depth. When it comes to a character like Oliver Queen and the Green Arrow, just a huge fan of him. I originally thought I wasn't gonna like the version of him in the new 52, but even that version is excellent. I love it. From top to bottom, great character. Even in the TV show, they show us more of a serious side compared to the new 52. It's very similar to the new 52, and it's similar to Batman, but they in the later seasons they have aspects similar to the old version of Green Arrow where he's just fooling, joking around, making jokes. He just thinks he's better than everybody. He thinks he can't let anyone in. And that's one thing I love about the character is that he always hides away stuff from people because he thinks he's not hurting them, but he doesn't know that if he lets someone in, it could help him. And it's just that battle back and forth between himself and his mind, going back and forth, knowing what he's doing is right. Green Arrow, what excellent character, man. I could talk about him all day. Now, moving on. Next, we have Batman. Okay, Batman. Now, hear me out. I'm a huge Batman fan. I love Batman, but there is a problem with the character Batman, and I'm gonna be the first one to address it. Now, Batman would be an instant S tier, but I'm putting him an A. There's some problems with the character. If you really think about it, deep down inside, sometimes I just wonder personally, why doesn't he just kill the Joker? There's just so he is. I know he's emotionally damaged, but to what point, to what extent? I know there's so much depth to the character. There is a lot of depth to the character. I know what he's been through, but sometimes I just wonder what if he turned a new leaf? What if he decided to throw it all away? What if he decided to retire? There's so much. There's just like he could do it. I just can't believe that Bruce Wayne wouldn't, after being Batman for so long, wouldn't come to the realization of sometimes what he's doing is wrong, not letting people in. I don't like the way he just doesn't let people in at all. Like the Robins, he makes so many mistakes. He learns from those mistakes, but then at the same time, he doesn't learn from those mistakes because he goes back to his ways. But overall, though, obviously, Bruce Wayne, Batman, a great character. Love him. One of my favorite characters of all time. If I was being fully biased, I would definitely put him at the top of the list, S tier, but I'm not doing that here because there are some flaws about the character. Now, moving on, we have, I think this is Alan Scott's Green Lantern. Yeah, I don't know that much about him. I do know that he does not use a Green Lantern ring, and from what I've seen, he's an okay character, but at this I'll put him in meh. I'll put him in meh. I don't really know that much about him. I do know the basics about the character, and from what I saw, he doesn't really seem that interesting to me. But I'd put him below Cyborg. Okay, moving on. Next, we have Aquaman. Now, Aquaman. This is not a controversial opinion. Maybe it is. I don't know what people feel about Aquaman. If they like him, if they don't like him. But I'm definitely in the middle. He's a good character, and a lot of the times Aquaman is treated as a joke or was treated as a joke, but recently I've been liking the character more and more personally. However, I do like the version of him where he's the king of Atlantis, where he is standing at his throne. He's serious. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's fighting for. He's just serious. I do not like the one thing about Jason Momoa's Aquaman, and that's the childish stuff. I don't like the jokes he makes. I don't like the corny lines. I'm not really a fan of that. More of a fan of Aquaman as a character where he is full on serious. I don't want him to be treated as a joke like he used to be. He's a good character. The King of Atlantis is just perfect. Everything makes sense. He's cool. Just look at him. He controls freaking animals in the ocean. Like, come on. I'll put him in solid. Aquaman's a good character, but over the years he's been hurt a lot. There's a lot of bad arcs with him, treated like a joke, but I'll put him in C tier. There are some good moments with Aquaman, and I've been liking him more. If you would have asked me a couple years ago, I'd definitely put him in maybe meh or okay, but now he's solid. He's solid. All right, moving on. Sorry for you Barry Allen fans, but I'm gonna put Barry Allen in okay. I'm gonna put him in okay, and hear me out. This is why. He is nowhere near as funny. He is nowhere near as interesting. And he is nowhere near as good overall as Wally West. He just gets in the way of everything. Okay. He makes so many mistakes. He doesn't learn from his past mistakes. He just keeps making mistakes over and over and over again. He tries to be a mentor to Wally, but somehow he makes things worse, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of the character. And I'm gonna be honest. He should have just stayed dead in the comics. Barry Allen, it's just ups and downs. In the TV show, you could even see traits of him where he just does not learn from his mistakes. And Grant Gustin, though, however, does a great job being quirky and playing the character. Barry Allen, I do like him, but the way that he just wrote in the comics, the way he's wrote on the show, Barry Allen is not a good character in my opinion. There are, however, very good arcs involving Barry Allen, so I cannot put him in meh or bad, and I'll put him in okay because just the sheer impact of the character. He's a big character, but I'm not a fan of him. I am a fan of Wally West's Flash, though. I'm not a fan of Barry Allen's Flash. Moving on next, we have Beast Boy. Beast Boy, meh. I didn't really care for him. I'm gonna be honest. I never really cared for Beast Boy. Even on Titans, he's cool and all, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to read Beast Boy comics. I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch videos revolving around the character of Beast Boy. He just, I don't know. He just doesn't seem that interesting to me. And that's a second Titan I have right next to Cyborg. The Titans, to be honest, the show was great and all, but they're not that interesting. It's just the same old over and over again. We see the same thing with Cyborg, Man vs. Machine. We see the same thing with Beast Boy trying to control his powers and his emotions, and then Raven and all that, Starfire, whatever you want to include. Just not a huge fan of it. And I'm not going to go out of my way. I don't think he's a bad character, but I just don't find him interesting at all. Moving on next, I think this is Black Canary. And Black Canary is an awesome character. I'll put Black Canary right below Jason Todd's Red Hood. Black Canary goes perfectly with Green Arrow. She understands what Oliver Queen is deep down inside. She knows the man he is, and she is a very smart woman. She makes good decisions. She knows what he's doing. She isn't overpowering. She isn't coming at your neck. She knows exactly what she's going to do. She plays her role perfectly. And every time she's involved in something, whether it's in the animated series or even the TV show, the Arrow TV show, there were times where the character, they found a way to make her a little annoying, but overall, I love the character. There's no way they could really ruin Black Canary if they just stick to the comic book material. She's great. She goes well with Oliver Queen. Love their pairing. And in my opinion, they're probably one of the best husband and wife duos, maybe even the best. I just love them together. So Black Canary, good character, like her. Moving on. Next, we have Booster Gold. Now, Booster Gold, don't get me. Booster Gold is an excellent character. The way he is written, a character like Booster Gold is why I love DC, why I love comics, why I love watching these TV shows, why I love talking about this over and over again. Because a character like him is just, he's way more than meets the eye. If you look at him, you look at a jerk, a doofus, an idiot, a dumb man, a guy, a smart ass, like whatever you want to call him, bro. There's so many things you could call Booster Gold when it comes to meets the eye. And a lot of the heroes do, but he's just so much more on the inside. And this character is on another level. Just don't forget Skeet either, man. Just so good. He is an automatic S tier. And unbiased, I would put him above Green Arrow as a character. He is the best of the best. Everything about him is great. The way he's written, just the character, you just need to get to know him. That's how good Booster Gold is. Once you get to know Booster Gold, you fall instantly in love with him. You know what he's doing, why he's doing it. You know the mistakes he's made and why he's gone down that path. Unlike other people, he knows the mistakes he made and he makes them right. He does everything in his power to make it right. Unlike other people, he does not deny it. He knows, and he admits to it over and over and over again and regrets it for the rest of his life. So Booster Gold, great character. I love him. And it's just crazy the way they write him. Booster Gold, best of the best. Moving on next, we have Damian Wayne. Now, a lot of people who don't read comics do not like Damian Wayne, and I disagree with them. Damian Wayne is definitely more than meets the eye as well. He's a character that's broken. You understand why he is the way he is. He has a connection with people. He knows he knows right from wrong when you really think about it, and he knows why he's doing it. And one connection that I will admit is great is Batman's dynamic with Damian Wayne. You know, Batman just needs to reach out to him. You know, Batman, the one thing about Batman, he's not really good with his emotions. So, you know, all he needs to do is tell Damian how he feels, and Damian needs to tell him how he feels as well. But guess what? Like father, like son, good character. I'd put him below Black Canary, because I like Black Canary more. She's more likable to me. But Damian Wayne, I do understand why some people think he's annoying when it comes to meets the eye, but you just need to get to know the character. He has a lot of character development. He gets better over time. I do like his dynamic with Nightwing a lot as well. So he's a good character. Damian Wayne, I'm a fan of him. Next up, we have Deadman, and Deadman, he is an okay character. He does have some good moments. I like when he interacts with Batman. It's cool, but he's not really a character that I personally would go out of my way to read about and learn about. He's just another character where I would say he is not on the same level as Beast Boy and Cyborg and Alan Scott's Green Lantern. I feel like he is more interesting. He has a certain thing about him that I do like, the just the character. I just like the concept of him. So I would put him in okay, because there are moments where I was intrigued with the character, and I still am a little bit intrigued with the character. So definitely I would put him in okay. Now moving on, next we have I think this is Elongated Man. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's Elongated Man. Now, Elongated Man, in my opinion, is a worse version than Plastic Man. He's similar to Plastic Man in the sense where their powers and they act like idiots. But Elongated Man, when he does act like an idiot and like a child, he's very smart. He shows us that he is very smart. He shows us his high IQ. He shows us that he is smart, and he just gets the job done. He knows what he needs to do. He gets the job done. He's an interesting character. He has some good moments, but I don't think he's quite as good as Plastic Man. So I'm gonna put him in okay. I'm gonna put him actually above Deadman. Next up, we have Dr. Fate, one of my personal favorite characters. Now, here's a problem with Dr. Fate. Okay, this might be a mini rant. There's a lot of versions of Dr. Fate, but the way they just write Dr. Fate, I'm a fan of certain arcs, but at the same time, it's just like, come on, man. Like turning Dr. Fate into possibly a full-on villain. I don't know what they were thinking. I'm not a fan of it at all. And if this was just my favorite characters list, I would definitely put Dr. Fate like up here, because I love the character. I find him interesting. I'm very interested in the character. I know what the character's capable of. I know his powers. I know the helmet, just puts him in that position, brings him down. Like I'm just in it. I'm hyped with it. And I find this character very interesting, but the writing, man, they just find ways to mess his character up. And I want justice. Hopefully when Black Adam comes out next year, this character gets the justice it deserves on the big screen. So I'm gonna put him, because he is my personal favorite, I will put him above. Actually, I don't know if I will put him above Aquaman. I guess I will, since he is one of my personal favorites. I'll put him above Aquaman, even though I know Aquaman is a better character. I gotta add a little bias there when it comes to Dr. Fate, but fortunate to see what they do with him. Now we have next up, we have Firestorm. Firestorm, he is way more interesting on the TV show. He was played by Robbie Amell originally, he was very interesting. Then when the actors switched, and then we had Professor Stein involved as well, still with the other actor who ended up playing him, I was still interested in the character. There was a moment in DC Legends of Tomorrow that got me, man. I couldn't believe it. I did get more interested in the character than I ever would be, but still, that doesn't change the fact that I don't like this character at all. I don't find this character interesting. I will never go out of my way to read a Firestorm comic. And when, unlike Beast Boy, Cyborg, and even Alan Scott, if Firestorm shows up, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care at all if Firestorm will show up. I just don't. I'm not really interested in the character at all. So I'm not really a fan of him. So I wouldn't really go out of my way to focus on the character or read about the character. So he's definitely getting the first one to be bad because don't like him at all. Okay. I don't really care. Next up, I think we have Guy Gardner. On a Guy Gardner, a lot of people say he's annoying, but that's the point of his character. He's supposed to be annoying. He's supposed to be the way he is, and he has so much character development. He has so much growth. He just Guy Gardner is a great character. I like him. I would put. Oof, is he better than Jason? Oh my, I don't know. This is close. He's definitely, I would definitely put him above Black Canary and Damian Wayne, but I don't know where I would put him. Guy Gardner, man, he's just such a good character. Is he on the same level as Red Hood? Is he better? I'd say he's better. I would personally say, he's a better character than Red Hood, and I really enjoy the character of Guy Gardner. So I will put him above Jason Todd's Red Hood. And he's supposed to be annoying. Okay, that's the whole point of the character. I do like the growth he has. I do like the imagination when it comes to him and the ring and what he does. And I do like the depth of the character of him going back and forth, realizing the mistakes he's made. It just makes he just makes you feel for him. You know what he's doing is wrong, but when he does realize that, you're like, damn, man, you just feel bad for him. You're actually connected with the character. Now, moving on next, we have another Green Lantern. We have Hal Jordan. Now, Hal Jordan, personally, I would put him. I don't like some of the stuff they did with Hal Jordan, where they turned him into a psychopath, and I wasn't really a huge fan of it. I didn't dislike it, but I was not a huge fan of it. And the character Hal Jordan, if you really think about it, he is very similar to Barry Allen, where a lot of the times he's just more of a liability and he gets in the way. But Hal Jordan definitely has way better arcs and moments than Barry Allen. So I'm definitely going to put him personally above even Guy Gardner. Actually, no. Actually, no, I'll put him below Guy Gardner, but he is my personal favorite Lantern because of the amount of impact he's had and the huge arcs he's been involved in. As we all know, Crisis, everything that happened with Green Lantern, Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, I did personally like it a lot. And even when he did went back and forth with on the spectrum, a lot of it I did enjoy, but I just did not enjoy the fact when he turned fully into Psycho. And I do also like the pairing of Green Lantern and Green Arrow a lot as well. So that does help him because a lot of those comics are some of my favorites to read. And the problem with Hal Jordan, though, is he's very, even though he has a lot of depth, he's more of if you had to pick between the two, I would say he's more one-dimensional in the sense of, what's going to happen with the character, where he's going, and what he's going to do. You don't know why fully he does it, but but at the same time you do. So it's like the character is good and all, but I don't really think he's great. I wouldn't put him above as a character as got over Guy Gardner, and even Kyle Rayner, who is also going to be on this list later. But moving on, we have Hawkman. Hawkman, I do not care about Hawkman at all. I'm gonna put Hawkman. Actually, I'll put him up. Okay, I'll put him. He's meh, but I'll put him above Beast Boy for this reason. Okay, Hawkman does have some interesting characteristics for the character, but the part of the character that's interesting is what happened to him, and it involves his origin. We don't really fully know what his origin is, because the whole point of the character, figuring out the character, is the whole entire thing is the origin. We're like, where did he come from? What did he do? That's the whole point of the character, and they just go all over the place with it. And sometimes I just get tired of it. Even on when they had an iteration of him on DC Legends of Tomorrow, it's just like, man, it's just all over the place. I'm like, come on, like, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Like, well, what's up with Hawkman? Like, what is his full on origin, man? Like, come on. Next up, we have Jake Garrick. Jake Garrick, I would say he's a better character than Barry Allen. I do like him more than Barry Allen. He has some good moments. He's an OG. and even on the TV show, he's humble. He knows what he does. He's wise. He makes good decisions. He's learned from his mistakes. Unlike Barry, actually, I changed my mind. I'm putting him in solid because unlike Barry Allen, okay. I'm sorry, Barry Allen fans. If you're a huge fan of Barry Allen, you have not read comics. Okay, read some. I don't know what you're reading. Okay, I don't know what you're looking at because he just doesn't learn, man. He just doesn't learn. Damn. But Jay Garrick gonna get the upgrade just because of the fact that he does learn from his mistakes, unlike someone else. But moving on next, we have, I think this is okay. I know who this is. I think Jessica Cruz's Green Lantern. I'm pretty sure that's her name. I've read some stuff about her, and from what I've read, she's interesting. She's already off rip a good character. I already know from minimum stuff I know. She's more interesting than Dead Man. She's more interesting than Elongated Man, and I would say she's a better character than Jay Garrick. But I don't know that much about her, so I'm gonna put her in C tier for now because I don't really know that much about her. I can't really put her in good, great, go any of that because I haven't read that much. But I can't put her in okay either because already she's better than okay. So definitely solid. All right. Next up, we have John Stewart. Now, John Stewart, okay. Here's a problem with this character. He, like the other Green Lanterns, all the Green Lanterns are good. I like all the Green Lanterns, okay. Here's a problem with John Stewart's character. Whenever he shows up, I'm excited. I'm hyped. Okay, John Stewart's here. I like him in Justice League animated series. I like him when he's a part of a team setting. He's a good team player. But when it comes to him as an individual, it's just the same thing, to be honest. What they do with him, they talk about his background, where he came from. They talk about the military and how much of a decent man he used to be. They talk about the architecture stuff. Yep, they talk about that, and it's like okay, but like the character just does not have really that much depth to it, in my opinion, at least from what I've read so far. So I will put him in solid because when he does show up, I am hyped. When he's part of a team setting, I'm like, okay, this character just elevates everyone else as well. When he's part of a team setting, I would put him on the same level as Aquaman. I wouldn't say he's better than him. I wouldn't say he's worse. So I'm gonna put him right next to Aquaman. All right, moving on next. We have Hawk Girl. Hawk Girl already gonna get put in okay because just like Hawkman, this is gonna be a quick one. She's very similar to Hawkman, but unlike Hawkman, she's more interesting. All right, so I'll put her in okay. So I should even put her above Deadman. Next up, we have Katana. Katana, meh. I don't really care for the character. I know what they try to do for her. I do like the version of her from the CW. Even the version of her from the Suicide Squad was okay. She's a meh character. I never really went out of my way to learn about Katana, read Katana comics. Just don't really find the character that interesting, to be honest. It's just like there's so many more interesting characters that you could read about. Why go out of your way to read about Katana? You know, if you're really into the samurai sword type stuff, then it makes sense, I guess, but still meh. Next up, we have another Green Lantern. We have Kyle Rayner. Now, Kyle Rayner is gonna be going, and I wouldn't say great just yet, but I would say he, as a character, he is better than Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner. I think he's the best Lantern. I think he is the Wally West to his Hal Jordan's Barry Allen. I think that is true. I think he is more of a funny version of the character. He doesn't take himself as serious. He's more lighthearted. He has some great moments as well, and he doesn't make things simple. He makes it more complicated, which I like, especially when it comes to him in the ring. His imagination, what he brings out, is just so funny to see sometimes. I'm not gonna say some of the things he used with the ring. Okay, if you know, you know. All right, but Kyle Rayner, great character, like him. I wouldn't put him on the same level as Batman because I just haven't read that much about him, and I just want to see a little bit more character development. I know where they're going with the character. I know what the character is overall, but I'm just excited to see more of the character. Okay, so next up we have Martian Manhunter. Now, Martian Manhunter, in my opinion, has always, just similar to John Stewart, has always been better in a team setting. Obviously, a lot of people who watch the Justice League animated series know he is kind of no, he is the heart of the Justice League team, and he knows what he's doing. He's very, very wise. He's smart. He's ethical. He makes the right decisions, makes the right calls. And when he does make a mistake, which whenever he does, which is rare, he admits to it. He realizes what he did wrong, and then he improves on himself. So he's an interesting character, but I will never go out of my way to focus on the Martian Manhunter as a character alone. I do, however, like his backstory more than John Stewart, because of the fact that he is from Mars, and the Martians. I do find that interesting. I just don't really care for it that much, but it is, however, interesting enough for me to put him above Aquaman and John Stewart. But again, another character where I feel like he's better in a team setting. All right. Next up, we have Mera, and I used to hate her a few years ago. I would put her in bad, but she's been improving as a character. So she's more of a strong woman, and in my opinion, she's a better character recently in the comics, even than Aquaman. And both of them were treated horribly back in the day, in my opinion. Both of them are improving, so I will put her above Aquaman. Okay, I think she is a better character right now than Aquaman. Aquaman at its full potential, I think that he could even be great or GOAT, but that's the same with every other character on this list. Imagine, I just wish I could put all of them in GOAT. Just so much comics I could read, so much fun, and so much content I could look at and enjoy. But a lot of characters I don't really care for, don't really like. But here, Mera, I'd put her above, just a slight edge over Aquaman. Next up, we have Miracle Man. Miracle Man, love him. Okay, everything about the character is good. Just the concept of the character, even the costume, it's simple but not simple at the same time. The way he could just figure out a way to escape from any type of situation. The character's interesting. I liked him in, again, the animated series as well. Good character, solid. I would put him above Batgirl, above Barbara Gordon. I wouldn't put him above. Actually, I would put him above Aquaman and John Stewart and Mera. Yeah. Would I? No, on second thought, no. On second thought, no, because on second thought, no. I wouldn't put him above those characters, but I feel like if you did put him above, I wouldn't disagree, because you just saw I almost did. Now, moving on. All right, instant S tier. Instant S tier. All the way at the top? All the way at the, okay. Oh, above Green Arrow. I'm going to leave it here, and all the way at the top, we have Nightwing, okay? Nightwing, man, is a great character, aka Dick Grayson. Great character, man. We grow up with him. When you originally see him as Robin, you see a kid who is a little quirky. He's a little socially awkward. But when he grows up, man, what a man he becomes. We see the development of this character. We see him even turn into Batman at one point to honor Bruce and continue on the legacy. And he's a awesome character. Okay, he's the best of the best. I would definitely has in my opinion, the most character development out of any character on this list. Okay, we see him grow fully into a full-on man. He turns into nearly a completely different person, but has the same morals, and that is something I love about this character. He, unlike Bruce, he is very good with his emotions. He's learned from Bruce and seen Bruce Wayne's flaws as Batman and as a person, and he has learned from them in a way where he never makes the same mistakes as Bruce ever does, because he tries to better himself and make himself a better version than Bruce Wayne. So Nightwing is literally everything Batman is, not as broken, obviously, but as a character, he is better because he does not make the same mistakes Bruce Wayne does and Batman does. So that's another reason why I wouldn't put Batman on the same level as GOAT status, because Dick Grayson's a great character. Moving on next, Plastic Man. Plastic Man, we talked about him earlier. He's a better version than of Elongated Man. And the reason why is this, because he's more funny. He doesn't take himself seriously at all. And the way he uses his powers are way more cooler. That is plain and simple. I would, and whenever he does show up, I'm happy. Okay, when Plastic Man shows up, I'm excited. I'm not going crazy for him, but I'm excited. I put him on the same level as Miracle Man. They're two good characters. I like them. I like them a lot in Batman Brave and the Bold. If you ever watch that, and that's a perfect version of the character. And also, one thing you do need to know about Plastic Man is he is definitely more than meets the eye. He's very, very smart. There's points in the comics where he's so smart where even Batman and Superman's jaws drop. They're like, what the hell? They didn't expect Plastic Man to actually be that smart. They didn't expect him to be as high IQ he actually was in certain situations. Next up, we have most irrelevant character, Power Girl. Don't care for her. She's Supergirl, but 10 times worse. Okay, easy. Move on. We didn't even need to talk about her. Next up, we have John Constantine. Love the character. Constantine, I would put him on the same level as Dr. Fate personally. As a character, he is better than Dr. Fate, but again, I'm more biased towards Dr. Fate because I'm a huge fan of him. And I do like the depth of the character. I do like the concept of the character and what he does. And obviously, the live action version played to perfection. Love the character. Don't really need to talk about him as much, and I also like him in the animated movies as well. I think it was Apocalypse War, where he and Zatanna had that dynamic with each other. So also love that as well. John Constantine, great character, like him a lot. But I wouldn't put him in good because there's just way more characters who are more interesting than him out there. Next up, we have Raven, and once again, man, I feel bad for Titans fans, but Titan fans, you got to realize these characters, when you really think about it, they're not that good. And another example of it is Raven, because Raven, there's only one point of her character. Every single time I see an iteration of Raven, I see a love triangle with another character, whatever the character might be. I see a character who's broken, a girl who's broken, but then also wants to originally please her father but never does. It's just don't not really a fan of the character. The Trigon aspect, I would put her in. I'd say she's the worst one out of the bunch. I wouldn't put her in bad because she does have some good moments and she is interesting to an extent. I will not put her in bad for that reason. Moving on next, we have Roy Harper Arsenal. Okay, Roy Harper would be definitely in great, but he just does not get enough credit when it comes to content. He just not does not have enough content. They don't use him as much, so I'm gonna have to put him below. I'll put him above Damian Wayne. I wouldn't put him above Black Canary, but I'll put him above Damian Wayne. But Roy Harper, Arsenal, is a great character. He goes off well with the pairing of him and Green Arrow. They work well together. There's an arc with him and Nightwing, which I love. There's a lot of stuff with the character. There's a lot of depth to the character of Roy Harper and Arsenal. You see the character grow, very similar to, I guess I could compare him to Nightwing if I were to compare him with someone. And they do even pair up with each other at one point. They work well together. And Arsenal is a great character. Hated to see how they ended the character's life and just killed him off in such a stupid way. I did not like the character, the fact that the character is not being used as much. I feel like if he is used a lot, he is definitely more interesting than 75% of characters that are used consistently. And he should be a character DC. DC, if you ever watch this, you see this. Arsenal, Roy Harper is a character you should use more. The character that people do find interesting, and there's a lot of fans of this character, including me, and he's definitely a great character. Moving on next, we have Shazam. Shazam, aka Billy Batson, just the concept of the character overall. Originally Captain Marvel, just like the character, great character. Everything about the character is good. The concept, top to bottom. I like Zachary Levi in the role in the live action version. I wouldn't, however, go out of the way to say where I'm a huge Shazam fan. I love Shazam. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in good. I'm going to put him on the same level as Guy Gardner and Kyle Rayner. I put him in between the characters because the character is very interesting. I do like the character's concept overall. It's just such a unique concept. It works well, perfectly, like a grown man, kid, just great. And I also like the character's development, the growth, and how Billy learns to deal with certain situations you wouldn't expect a person at his age to deal with. Moving on next, we have Simon Baz, who's another Green Lantern. He is good, but he is probably out of the bunch of the lanterns the worst. I already like Jessica Cruz more than him, and I've barely read about her, so I would put Simon Bass in okay. Okay, so there's not really much to talk about the character. If you want to learn about the character, you could go see for yourself if you would be interested in Simon Bass's Green Lantern. He's not bad, but I wouldn't say he's good either. Well, actually, he is good to an extent. So maybe I'll put him in solid. No, I wouldn't, because I don't see him on the same level as John Stewart or just Cruz's Green Lantern. So I'll put him in okay. Next up, we have Starfire. I hate this character. I am not a fan of Starfire at all. If I talk about Starfire more, I'll just go on a rant. Just do not like the character at all. Even in the live action version, not a fan of the character. Starfire, not a fan of at all. So we're just gonna move on. Next up, let's move on to Bright Spot, a better character than Starfire, in my opinion. Also has star in the name by mile, and also has a new live action show on the CW. Currently, season 2 is going on. Stargirl, can't even talk correctly. My bad. Stargirl airing live on the CW now, and I've been watching it recently. It's pretty good, and she in the comics is a good character. I forgot the writer's name, but the character itself is based off his sister, and she's pretty cool. She has some good attributes. She's interesting. She's likable. She's very similar in the sense to Black Canary. She's not overpowering either. She's like Supergirl. She has everything Supergirl has, the good, but and more. So I'm gonna put her above Black Canary actually, because she is even more interesting than her and has more layers than Black Canary's character. So moving on, next we have Superboy. Superboy, if you would have asked me a while back, like similar to a lot of people, I would put him in bad. I was not a fan of Superboy when he was first introduced. He is very similar to, actually, I would compare him to Jordan on Superman and Lois, in the sense of where he is a hothead, and he's also at the same time really goofy and jokes around, obviously, because he is a kid. So, but there's, as Superboy's character development progresses, I like the character more and more. The twist that he is Lex Luthor's son is insane. I did not expect that at all. So I'm definitely taking him out of here. And as the character grows more and more, I start to like the character more and more. So I'd put him above Plastic Man and Miracle Man. I'm more interested in the character. I'll put him right below John Stewart's Green Lantern. All right, moving on next. We have Supergirl, and we talked about Stargirl earlier. Supergirl is similar to the character. I like it when she shows up. She's, in my opinion, better in a team setting, but I do not care for her at all when she's on her own. So for that reason, I'll put her in okay. Unlike Barry Allen, she is very helpful sometimes when she's involved, but she can be a liability at times as well. So she's an okay character. All right. Next up, we have Superman. Superman is the best. Okay. Originally, I was not a fan of Superman. I did not like the character Superman. I thought he was just meets the eye. I thought he was just a character who just does the right thing just to do it. He's just happy, rain and sunshine. Okay. I thought that was the character, but I was completely wrong. Okay. And that was not the character at all. And Superman has so many layers to him, and it's just insane. When you first read Superman comics, you're like, okay, then this is exactly what I expected. But as you progress more and more and more, and you start reading more, you're like, this character is just on a whole nother level. So for that reason, Superman is, in my opinion, I want to put him in GOAT status, but he's on the same level as Batman, in my opinion. He's just a great character. He you know why he does it. You know why he does what he does. You read more into the character, just so much depth. If you know the character Superman, at any moment, Superman could just easily decide to kill everyone, just destroy everyone, but he just doesn't. He just doesn't. And there's a reason behind it. And there's just so much. I can't explain to you. You just got to read for yourself, learn for yourself. Superman, great character. Next up, who's this? I think this is Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing, I am actually a fan of this character. I guess if you we could talk about Injustice as well, the video game actually. Yeah, I like him in that a lot too. Swamp Swamp Thing is an interesting character. I like him more than Killer Croc. I like him more than Solomon Grundy. He's interesting. He is good. The TV show was interesting as well. He's a solid character, but he has actually an interesting backstory. I also like him even more than Poison Ivy. I would possibly put him in good, but I don't think right now I'd put him in good. I'd put him uh, above. I'll put him above Superboy. Swamp Thing's an interesting character. I want to know more about the character and see more of the character. Uh, Maybe even a live action iteration in the Justice League, something like that. They could work things out. Maybe even get Swamp Thing a part of the Suicide Squad. That'd be very interesting as well. There's a lot of things they could do with Swamp Thing. Moving on next, we have Ted Kord's Blue Beetle. So we're only gonna go by Ted Kord's Blue Beetle, I guess. Unless I'm gonna count the other Blue Beetle too. Do I? I'm just gonna count Ted Kord's Blue Beetle, and Blue Beetle works off perfectly with Booster Gold, but I don't think he is as good of a character as Booster Gold. I don't think he's on the same level as him, but I do think he's a good character. I'll put him at the top of good because the character does have an interesting backstory, and we saw the. Okay, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but there's something that if you want to read comics of Blue Beetle later on, there's something crazy that happens with the character Ted Kord, and it's really shocking. And I was blown away. This character has a lot of depth to him as well. He's more than meets the eye, like a lot of characters here. He works well with Booster Gold. I don't think he's again as good as Booster Gold, so I'll put him in the top of good because of the fact that him and Booster Gold do work well together, and I do like their pairing a lot. Next up, we have Ray Palmer. Ray Palmer. Wait. Do we count Ray? We just count Adam. Adam as a whole. You're gonna count Adam as a whole here, and I would put him in okay because when he does show up, I'm excited. Okay, he is a good character, and when he does show up, I'm excited. I'd put him above Elongated Man, above Simon Bass. I'll put him right below Barry Allen's Flash. When he shows up, I'm excited for the character, but it's just there's a certain ceiling to the character. I feel like you can't really go that far in depth with him. We already know what the character is. We know based off the personality of the character what he does. We know he's similar to Ant-Man, but he can shrink even smaller than him. He's a good character. I wouldn't go out of my way to read about him, but when he does show up in whenever actually he does show up, I do get a little hype. And I'm excited to see him. So moving on next, we have Tim Drake's Robin, aka Red Robin. Tim Drake, in my opinion, he is, I guess, the best Robin, but he is the worst Robin when it comes to character development. Okay, he has the worst character development out of any of the Robins, but when it comes to pairing up with Batman in certain arcs, he has the best moments with him. Even in the animated series, even in Teen Titans, anything you want to compare it to, he has a lot of great moments there. But when it comes to just sheer character development, he has the worst character development out of any of the Robins. When Damian Wayne came along and we saw the Red Robin arc start, it was excellent. It was great. I was hyped for it to see more with Tim Drake. But he's just like you don't really know the dimensions and the layers to this character because of the fact that there's not that much development to the character. And that's not obviously it's not the character's fault, it's the writer's fault. The people who written him, he's kind of bland. And I want to, in the sense, bland, not as a person, not as boring, but like we just don't know that much about the character. I want to know more about the character, more layers, get into the character. Hopefully they do that more and more. But Tim Drake, he is still really good because all the Robins are good. But actually he's the worst one out of all of them. I'd put him above Swamp Thing. Actually, I find him more interesting than all these characters here. I'd put him right here. I'd put him below John Constantine. I put him above Martian Manhunter. I do think he's interesting, but I just want to see them do more with the character. Okay, moving on next. Okay, we're nearing the end of this list. Next up, we have who's this right here? Wally West's Flash. Okay, we talked about Barry Allen earlier, and this is going to be a quick one. Wally West is exactly like Barry Allen, okay? In the sense where he has every attribute, but he's not annoying, okay? I don't find him annoying. I find him fun. I find him very likable, and he learns from his mistakes. He makes smart decisions, and when he does make a mistake, he corrects them as fast as he can. I like the character a lot. Wally West, instant S tier. I'd put him above Nightwing. He's a great character. Love him top to bottom. I want to see a live action version of him. I don't care to see Barry Allen over and over again. The quirkiness, the annoyingness, Barry Allen. I want to see a Wally West live action, man. I just want to see it sometime soon. He is the better Flash. He is the best Flash. He's a legacy character. He has a lot of stuff to live up to, and he does live up to it, okay? Because he is the best version of the Flash, okay? Out of all of them. Moving on next, we have Wildcat. Now, Wildcat, he's a good character, but again, I wouldn't go out of my way to read Wildcat comics, but he is very similar. If I were to make a comparison of the character itself and personality, he's very similar to Black Canary. He's the male version to Black Canary. He has some of the bravado. He knows when he's wrong. He knows when he's right. He's a very simple character, but at the same time, he has certain layers to him from his past. So he's an okay character. I'm in the Justice League animated series when he was involved. He was interesting as well. So I would put him right below the Atom, right there. Belongs there. He's okay. When he does show up, I'm like, okay, we got Wildcat involved too, but I'm not really going crazy for him. All right, next up we have Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman, this is gonna be a controversial opinion. Wonder Woman is a good character, but she is just so hard to write and so hard to make movies about, so hard to make content involving Wonder Woman. I do not like Wonder Woman in a team setting, but at the same time, I do like her in a team setting. I do not like her on her own, but at the same time, I do like her on her own because there's just so much stuff they do with her, good and bad. But at the end of the day, I can't deny that Wonder Woman is a good character. I would put her on the same level as Superman and Batman, but just so many mistakes and so much stuff I don't like that they do with the character, which forces me to put her at the top of good. I will not put her in great. I will not put her in GOAT status because it's just hard to write her with all the stuff, the gods and everything and the Amazons. And then I actually some of the stuff I dislike a lot. So I would put her, I'd put her below Kyle Ring. I'd put her below Hal Jordan, actually, to be honest. There's some stuff I don't like what they do with her without giving any spoilers. But if you want to read about Wonder Woman, a lot of people do like her. Okay, they do like the dynamic of when she, changes her ways and et cetera, et cetera. Let's just put it that way. But moving on next, we have Zatanna, and that's our final one. We're at the end of this list, and we have Zatanna to end it off. She's very similar to John Constantine. I like her a lot. I'm not gonna go out of my way to read Zatanna comics, but I do like her possibly even more than John. I find her more interesting, so I'll put her in good. I'll put her right below Damian Wayne. She's a good character. I'm interested to see a live action version of her. The character is pretty good. She works well with others in pairings. She's not annoying. She's not overpowering. She is a very strong woman, like a lot of people that are on this list, and she doesn't have to really be annoying when it comes to her coming at your neck. She's very similar to Black Canary in that sense, but I do like Canary more because of the Green Arrow connection, but I'll put them on the same level. And I do like the relationships he has with others like Batman and Constantine. So she's a good character, and even Damian Wayne. Well, that is it for this list of ranking all these DC characters. Let me know what you would like to see next. This is Barely Deadly, and I will see you guys next time.